Hey guys, my name is Mark from Jazz Guitar Lessons. In this video, we're going to look at how to look ahead in playing. I'm going to help you to hear faster and therefore play faster. And we're going to do this with the metronome, your guitar and your pick. You can do this fingerstyle as well. If you haven't watched the first part of this video, please watch it here where I expose my thesis. And basically I say if you want to break the speed barrier, for 99% of players, you should first break the hearing barrier. So in this video, I have a 5-step approach, which is pretty simple, that we'll go through together, and prepare to be amazed. So before we get going with the exercises, I want to give credit where credit is due. The 5-step exercise in this video is adapted from Galper, Forward Motion. Great book, please get it. I love the way it's written, and you can refer towards the end when Galper refers to vivid oral imagination. Just a quick note on the process. Vivid oral imagination is the same process as we can use visually. For instance, if I were to ask you to close your eyes now and visualize an elephant, you would probably be able to visualize something, unless you're visually impaired, whatever. But the point is, we can do the same with our ears. I can shut my eyes and go back in my inner world and hear, assuming the first 5 notes of a major scale. I can pretty much hear that. C, D, A, F, G, right? I can do that. So we will use this process of vivid oral, A-U-R-A-L, imagination, in order to stack up lines and hear faster and further and further and further. So let's get going with the process. All right, step 1 of the exercise. First, I'm going to set up my metronome to a comfortable 80 BPM, and I'm going to play the C major scale, the first 5 notes, in whole notes. You ready? I'm just going to go ascending for now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm counting at every step, and you will see the relevance of this because if you want to play faster, your mind's going to have an idea of the subdivision. So fast speed is not just muscle speed, it really is accurate speed of where things are placed. All right, so step 2 now, what we're going to do is essentially simply hear it. All right, so we're going to hear the first 5 notes of the C major scale that I just played for you. We're going to hear it in our mind. So that's going to be a pretty weird part of the video where we mime. But we got to do this in time because that's our anchors. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just hear it. C, D, E, F, G. All right, how is that? Okay, if you have trouble doing that, it's going to be really hard to do the next step accurately as we start adding more and more notes to this process, right? So it's crucial that you hear it first. And in the 3rd step, all we're going to do is actually play it, okay? So we've actually done that when I set up the anchors. I said, well, our anchors are as follows, and then hear it, and then play it. But here's the next step, which is step 4 on my list. We will add 1 note, and the pickup note is from above, all right? So we're going to set up the metronome. We have our anchors. And what I'm going to do is aim at beat 1 of C with a D note approach. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and etc. So the 5-step process basically is setting the anchor, 1. Number 2, hearing it. Number 3, playing it and seeing how close to the actual thing we were in our head. Number 4 is adding 1 note. Now we just have 1 note approach. And step 5 is going to be to speed it up. As I speed it up with my metronome, I told you in this previous video, the rate of speed that stops me from playing faster is not the one that's mechanical, it's the one that I hear. That's the one that's going to always be my breaking point. All right, so let's try this 1 note approach again. So step 1, my anchors are set. Good. Step 2, I hear a 1 note approach into each. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Dun, dun. I'm cheating. Good. Now let's play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just hearing the anchors in my mind. The anchors are easy to hear. Okay, perfect. Now we have 1 note approach. Now, I'm not going to do it in the present video, but see how fast you can increase the speed, and until the point where you can't hear that bit, and what should be screaming in your mind is these anchors that we determined in step 1, right? Pretty simple. It's just C, D, E, F, G. It's perfectly simple. Now let's go to more advanced exercises. Now that's the gist of it. So confront yourself to see, can you go towards 180, 200, 250 BPM on the metronome while still maintaining the integrity of your anchor line and adding a few more notes? So just a few pointers. When you're doing the ascending scale, I recommend a descending line. So for instance, if you're going towards a C and you have, let's assume, 5 notes approach, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 land. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? So don't think of where you're starting, think of where you're gonna land. I've said that in countless videos, right? So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 2. So what's on my mind is not that flurry of note, is where I'm gonna land. So you see, what we're doing is we're creating a mental distance between where we're about to land and what we do. And hence the process, and it worked for me and a lot of students, the process is to intuit where we're going to land. So even if my getting there is approximate or not sure, at least I have a place, and it means that I develop this ability to look ahead. That's the whole process. I develop the ability to look further and further and further to a point where I can probably hear even just a few notes, even 3, 4, 5 notes, even a bar ahead when it's really fast. Then the speed barrier is never the one that's technical. That's fascinating. Okay, last few advanced exercises. We just did the first 5 notes of the scale as anchors, but feel free to do it for an entire scale. Also, if you want to do the backward motion, as I mentioned, we will ascend the anchors through the scale with something that's coming from the top. So, right? If we want to instead descend the scale as our anchor, so assuming our anchors would be G, F, E, D, E, what we want to do is ascend into them. So, right? I didn't respect it. I didn't do it in time, but you absolutely have to do it in time. You absolutely have to determine the anchor and then hear it as hard as possible in your mind without playing it, just listening to the metronome, hear it, hear it, hear it, then play it. If there's a fluke, just stop and resume, hear it, play it, and then you can add a note or you can just keep increasing the speed on that. And you can do it for any part of scale or song. Actually, I even don't recommend you do that on song. It doesn't sound like me, right? Typically, I'm like, everything's got to be applied in the context of a progression. Now I'm like, take one thing and see how far ahead you can look and see how fast you can hear and be amazed as far as the results. Because number one, you'll be able to hear further. And number two, by doing that, it means that organically, naturally, the rate at which you can perform, the speed of your lines will just naturally increase. With that note, my name is Marc from jazzguitarlessons.net. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher. I hope you've enjoyed this video. There may be more exercises like this. If you need anything, you can just ask me a question in the comment below and I can film another video being more precise about certain aspects of playing this in forward motion. Get the book Forward Motion. It's fantastic, and I'll see you soon on the channel. Take care.